This is One Fat Boy, and here are my NBA game predictions for February 13th of 2022. Today there's two games, as both will be before the Super Bowl, and I'll be going over these spreads and over-unders for these. For the Hawks at Boston, I'll go with Atlanta plus 6.5. So I expect this game to be pretty close, so saying Boston will win by more than 6.5 I think is a little bit of a stretch. But overall, I think the defense, well, especially for the Celtics, they can slow down Atlanta, and then it really depends on the team that shows up for Boston, as we have the second half of the season Hawks who play much better, and then the Celtics can either turn on both ends and just win outright. That's why they have the minus 6.5 spread, or they just can play like how some games they just show up and no one's there, and they just get blown out and don't even crack 90 points. But I think Boston will be able to show up as Atlanta. They want to keep themselves above Atlanta in the playoff race and just secure more wins to keep themselves above the play-ins. I expect Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to have some good bounce-back games from last game, and then Trae Young to still have a decent game. Maybe not above 35 points, but more above that 25-point range. I will be going over 21.5, as I think this will be a more offensive game rather than both teams trying to clamp down on defense against each other. I think this will be more of an offensive affair game. For Minnesota at the Pacers, we'll go with Minnesota minus 6.5. So I think the size of Minnesota should be able to wreak some havoc against Indiana. They'll have a tough time trying to deal with that. And in turn, so it's there should be a lot of extra possessions for Minnesota, and then not many offensive rebounds for Indiana. So it's going to be a lot of chances for Minnesota to score and build their lead. So they should be able to cover the minus 6.5 spread, have a bounce back game against what's probably going to be a struggling team in the second half of the NBA season. I will be going over 235.5, as Minnesota, they do play up and down. Their games usually end up being pretty high scoring. I personally wouldn't be surprised if they score more than 130 in this game. They'll probably be above that 120 mark, but yeah, lean over towards 120 for Minnesota. Don't be surprised to go over 130 for that. And then Indiana, Minnesota gives a lot of points. They're going to score probably at least 110. So that's why I'm going with a over 235.5. And then overall for stats and props for this game, just bet on the Minnesota, the big two for them, Towns and Edwards to have decent games points wise, easily both over 20. Could probably go over 25 for both of them, and that's relatively a good bet. And then Towns have a double-double, and then Edwards kind of random with the rebounds he grabs and assists, but Towns is the most consistent person to vote on for the Timberwolves. But overall, high-scoring game, Minnesota winning. Thank you for watching. Most of you are probably more prepared for the Super Bowl today, but got to get those two games before the Super Bowl with the basketball. And comment what you think about the basketball game today. And once again, thanks for watching.